Hello and welcome back to my scrapbook. My name is Jennifer Perry and today we're going to start working on, well, I call her Jessica Rabbit. Her real name is I'm Not Bad, I'm Just Drawn That Way, from Diamond Art Club. This is a 47 by 82, so it is slightly bigger than Hello Beastie. So I've done just a tiny bit of it, but we're going to keep going. And if for some reason my head ends up in the camera, I'm going to let you know I am starting to look like Cousin It. None of us have been able to go to the hairdresser lately. None of us have been able to really get out and take care of stuff that we normally take care of. So I'm wearing a bandana to keep my hair out of my face. So if you happen to see such things in the camera, it is what it is. I also have the window open, so you may hear some outside noise. And I am processing a video that I just edited, so you may hear my computer. So it's just going to be what it is. I am trying a different camera angle, so I have my easel backed up farther than I am used to, so that it's actually backed up against the wall. There'll be no moving. And I'm trying an above the head, this time slightly angled. So eventually I will find a good camera angle for everybody, so that you guys can see what you need to see, but yet I can still work. So let's see if we can get started. I am working on DMC number 3371. Actually, I'm going to put that back in just to keep my hand out of it. There we go. Yeah, this is a little bit farther back than I'm used to working, so it'll take me a minute to get my groove going. So how has everybody been? How's everybody coping with this stay indoors, stay at home, well, not necessarily stay indoors. You can go out, or at least where I'm at, I can go play in my yard. How's everybody been doing? We're still doing okay. Husband is still working at home. He recently had to purchase a green screen to do some of his work with. Hi, are you coming to play? What are you doing? Don't walk in the drills. Because a lot of his work has to do with user group meetings. Hi. Are you gonna... Hi, are you suddenly very loving? Yeah, Mom's got the camera on, right? What are you doing? You gonna lay on my arms? Wait, is Daddy not paying attention to you because he's working too? Yeah, well, nobody can see you. You're laying exactly on top of the drill tray. Go get your box, Rufus. Come on. I don't want to play with your butt. So anyway, a lot of his work has to do with user group meetings and whatnot, which we're not allowed to be having groups. So they are trying to work out a way of having user group meetings virtually. Hi. Do you want me to move that so you can sit? There, is that better? I'll actually move my water for you. Is that better? Alright. You don't need the tacky finger. What's he doing? Oh, now we have to go look out the window because we heard a noise. So they're working on that and working out the green screen, but Biscuits has decided he wants to play with the green screen too. So now Mike is figuring out how it is to work with a very curious cat as your work buddy. Yeah. Oh, he's gonna watch the neighbor now. The neighbor's doing yard work and stuff on the side of the house. Like I said, I have the window open slightly just to kind of let some fresh air in. So, if you've been anything like me lately, you find yourself cooking a lot more at home. And let me tell you, I did not realize I was a spoiled brat when it came to cooking and how many times we eat out, because I seriously want to eat out, and there's nowhere to eat out. And yes, I know we could do the whole takeout thing, but that defeats the purpose of wanting to get out of the house and go spend time somewhere else. That's really the only thing that's been bothering me. I'm an introvert by nature, so I can do all my shopping online. I can do all my everything else without having to leave the house, and I'm perfectly happy. It's the whole I want to go eat. But it is not worth jeopardizing somebody else's health just because I want to go eat. There we go. Now the first couple of lines are always the hardest to get straight. So you will always see me fussing with these until you get a good amount of drills in your space. There we go. So I was able to get 2 videos edited today, and I have them saved in the proper spot. I just need to get them uploaded. Oh, you're crooked. You don't need to be crooked. This is poured glue, so it's a little bit slidey at the moment. As I'm working with it, and as it dries out a bit, it'll get a little bit more tacky. I love poured glue and the fact that it doesn't get the rivers as easy as double-sided tape. But it does go through a little bit of a process where it is slippery. And as I said in a previous video, I am trying to keep my working space a little bit more covered because Biscuits has been walking across my table and swishing his tail onto the canvas, and I don't want cat hair on my canvases. So I've been keeping a much closer drill space than say 4x4. This particular little piece here is 2x2 or 2x4. I feel like I'm putting the drills on crooked. Hopefully it'll all straighten out. Now when I was working on my starter square, I noticed that these greens are very... Biscuit, come here. Let me see your feet. Sorry about that. He just walked straight in front of me before I realized what he was doing and walked right into my drill tray. So I had to make sure he didn't have drills stuck in his paws. The last thing I want him doing is A, having one get embedded in his paws, have him dig it out and eat it, and then that can't be good for his little system. Incoming or outgoing. Okay, so let's see. Done with that color? I am done with this color. Alright. But what I was saying, oh, I got one more. I see it. What I was saying is these greens are very close in color, and some of the symbols are very intermixed. So it's going to be confetti-y with the same color tones. Does that make sense? So I'm going to have to be very careful not to just go, hey, all these are green, so they got to be the same symbol, and they're not. Next, let's do a little head man. We'll cover this back up a little bit more. Just move down some. Okay. Oh, it's upside down. Okay, so the one thing I've noticed with this painting is I have two very similar, I'm going to move this down. I have two very similar icons that I'm going to have to be really careful with, and they're both green. So I'm going to work on this one at the moment. He's about to figure out he can't walk back there. Oh, he did. Okay, good. Get your face out of my trash can. Daddy wouldn't play with you either, huh? He's going to come back in and play in his box. There we go, now I'm getting a rhythm. It always takes a few minutes, doesn't it, when you first get started again? There we go. I'm hesitant because with the other painting, I think you saw that I would trim the paper. But this is parchment paper that I had to buy, so I don't want to trim too much of it. I want to be able to reuse it. But I can also reposition it easier than the white release paper. So we'll just see how this works out. Hate when that happens. Right, you're in my way. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting it. So I've still been looking at the different sites because I have a one in, one out policy on my paintings, and I have completed 2 paintings since AliExpress had to close. I think it was starting November they had to close. Either November or January, I can't quite remember. So between AliExpress closing for a while, and then Evermoment closing, and then DAC just sent out an email yesterday. I don't know when this is going to go up, but in real life it's actually April 6th that this is filming. So DAC sent out an email yesterday that they're having shipping issues, and they're not able to get, well, is it shipping issues or is it stock issues? Either way, I think they're having issues getting their stock shipped to them, which means they're having issues getting orders shipped to us. So I've been a little hesitant to order paintings lately. So with my one in, one out policy, I now, when I find a painting, A, that I like, and 2, is going to be able to get shipped to me, I will be able to order 2 paintings. Oops. There we go. When I'm working high up in these corners over here, I tend to hit the button to turn the lights off. So this one, and I don't know if she actually watches my channel, I doubt it, but this painting is going to be going to my sister when it is finished. So I will be figuring out how to tube roll it and mail it to her. And it will be a good test to see if it can be tube rolled after it's been sealed, because I want to seal it before I send it to her. And I will also have to convert the frame measurements so that she can buy a frame that matches her house. And I'm not sure where she'll hang this, but she'll find a spot. I told her about it when I was down there in March, just before the world stopped turning, and she was really, really excited about it. So I'm excited to get this done for her. There. Notice how when you start getting everything filled in, the drills just kind of straighten themselves out. So if you're new to this and you're scared of squares, they do kind of behave themselves once you get a few put in. The one thing you want to be careful of is that your top row and your side rows are completely straight, or as straight as you can get it. And then everything else just kind of falls into place. See, this is where I'm having to be careful because these greens are darn near the same color. So I've got the little headband and a V next to each other. And I'm just going to not be able to zone out and just plunk in by color. I'm going to have to just really pay attention to... Okay, evidently I need more tacky tape. Why is it that every time I start to play with you guys, I get either super sleepy or I get super munchy? I'm going to work on this little corner in a bit. Why is that? Of course, I don't want to munch while I'm working with you because that's rude. And if I don't have enough to share, it would be rather rude. Okay, there's a bit of a pattern going on that's making this easier. There we go. So anyway, like I was saying before, the one thing with this pandemic is I have been cooking a lot more than I am used to cooking. And then for a while, when this first started, like day 3 or something that my husband was home working, our microwave went out. And he put food in, he opened the door, and food was still cold. We tried it 2 or 3 times, it was still cold, so our microwave went out. And I thought, well, you know what, this is a great opportunity to see if we truly need a microwave. I mean, do we really? Is a microwave really necessary? Do we seriously need a microwave? So we went about 3 weeks with no microwave. And we just went and bought a new microwave Friday night. And let me tell you what put me over the edge. we've really been doing a good job as far as, you know, remembering how to reheat things the old school way, you know, before we had microwaves, because I am old enough to remember that. Took a bit, but I am old enough to remember how we did it. But what threw me over the edge is I went to the store and I was like, you know, I have a popcorn maker. Let me see if I can just get some popcorn. There was no regular popcorn on the shelves. It was all microwave popcorn. I went, okay, well that sucks. Alright. Well, let's get some chips and queso. I can heat queso up and we can do chips and queso. And that will kind of take care of my Mexican food craving. And I'm driving home and I went, oh man, heating queso up in a pan without a water bath, like restaurant style, I scorch it every time. I mean, I scorch it every time. And setting up a water bath just takes longer to heat it up that way. So I was like, okay, it's not gonna be fun. This is not gonna work. So I looked at my husband. He got off work Friday night and I was like, we gotta go buy a microwave. So I was really impressed with the way Home Depot had their store set up. And I was really, I mean, super impressed with everything they had going on. Super impressed with service. They brought the microwave out to us. They were limiting the amount of people in the store. Because something about this, the light in our pantry has gone out. We had to replace that. And I'm not just talking light bulb, the actual light. The actual fixture went out. So we had to replace that. The microwave went out. All this was at the same time. So we've had to make quite a few trips to Home Depot. And just to keep the house going. So they were limiting the number of people in the store. Perfect, not a problem. I don't mind waiting in line. Everything was done per specs. Bought our microwave. They brought it out to us in the car. Took it home. It took us quite a while to get it installed. Just retrofitting into the spot. In the middle of all that, I must have gotten tired because I ended up taking a spill in the kitchen. It spilled so hard that I kind of, what's the phrasing I want to use? Jammed my shoulder back up. Jammed up my neck a little bit, so I've been using my TENS unit again to kind of help get all that relaxed back out. And then I bent my brand new glasses. So my glasses are sitting cockeyed on my face. They can be repaired. It's just, I'm not considering it essential. And I don't even know if Target Optical is open. They're just sitting a little cockeyed on my face at the moment. So as soon as everything is back to normal, I will make an appointment with Target Optical and just see if they can bend my glasses, heat my glasses and bend them back into shape. So, but Mike and I got the microwave put up together, and it's a heavy little microwave, but it is where it goes. So now we have a fully functioning kitchen again, complete with a working microwave that's much quieter than the other one. I didn't realize how loud my other microwave was. So, I've been doing a ton of cooking. Although the one thing I figured out is, right now with Mom still being in Florida, there's only 2 of us. So I only really have to cook every other day or so because we eat and then we have leftovers. Then I cook, eat, have leftovers, you know. So it's not been horrible. And we have food to cook, so it's not like we're starving, so I've just had to break out my cookbooks and remember how to cook. Because you don't forget your favorite stuff. You don't forget your go-to stuff. when you have already had all your go-to recipes for the week and you're like, I can't have spaghetti 5 times this week. What else can I make? No. So it's been interesting just kind of going back in time and remembering what I used to cook when I was a newlywed. Now, I will say I have not put 5 different beans on the same plate this time, like I did one time when we were newlyweds and I thought it was a vegetarian meal. Okay, got all those. Let's switch over to V. I have actually figured out what a vegetarian meal is in the last 26 years. Although he still hasn't got me to eat tofu. He keeps trying, and I can't. It probably tastes fine. It's probably okay. I just can't talk myself into it yet. There we go. Working a little bit backwards. But it also has been really nice just having Mikey home. He hasn't had to go into the office because the office is closed. He's been able to work from home. And it kind of reminds me of when we first were married. We had to move to Houston because that was where he got his first job out of college. And I've got something stuck on my finger. Hold on, guys. So because we were newly married and broke as a skunk, and you don't have a lot of money when you're 22, 23 years old. So we had one car. We found an apartment right next door to where he worked, like literally next door where he worked. So he would walk to work because it was, think how close your house is next to your neighbor. That's how close we worked. So that afforded me to be able to work a little farther away from the apartment. So I worked in the next town over at the hospital, and then he just worked at his little company right next door to the apartment we lived in. So he was able to come home every day for lunch. And, you know, he would leave at 7:55 in the morning to be at work by 8. You know, it wasn't any traffic jams. He just had to, you know, didn't even have to cross the street. He just had to cross the parking lot. And then he would come home and have an hour for lunch, so I would fix him lunch. And then he would go back home and he would leave work at 4:55 and he would be home by 5. And it was wonderful. And the only time it really got goofed up is when I was working nights. It was my very first night shift. And I worked 3 to 11 at Tomball Regional Medical Center in Tomball, Texas. And I had never worked past 5 o'clock in the evening. And that was where I figured out that I am a true night shifter. That if I could ever get another job like that again, the hours worked perfectly for me. Except we would come home, he would feed me. I'd get home about 11:30 or so. Because it wasn't that far from where we lived. And he'd feed me late, and then we'd, you know, if it was a Friday night or something, we'd stay up. And then I would sleep until 11 or so, drag my butt out of bed. And I only worked 3 days a week. I worked Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. And that was also the first time I ever worked part-time. I thought I was living large. I thought I was a spoiled brat. Now I'm a spoiled brat. And I don't know if there's any medical types out there that remember what medical record assembly was. That's what I did for them. Now folks, we're talking back 25 years ago, 26 years ago, before computer charting really took off. I mean, we had a little bit of computer charting, but nothing like it is today. Your medical records were all paper, and they would be somewhat in sections, but when they made it to the medical records department after your discharge, they would be in just a jumble of papers. So my job was to take the medical record and put it in order of section and date and chronological order by however many days you were in the hospital. So if you went in from the 1st until the 5th, each section had to be by date from the 1st until the 5th, and then I also had to make sure that every item that should be in that medical record is in that medical record. So I had to kind of read it a little bit, figure out what was supposed to be in there, and make sure that it was in there. And then if it wasn't in there, I had to flag it to make sure it was found. You know, so say there was supposed to be a surgical report, a pathology report, a history and physical, and a discharge summary. Say those were the 4 items missing. So I either had to go look and make sure, okay, where are those? Have they not been filed yet? Which hopefully by the time you got discharged, your history and physical was already on the medical record, and hopefully your pathology report and surgical report were already on the medical record. So not normally I was just looking for discharge reports. But, you know, just kind of had to make sure all that was together. So in this particular job, working 3 to 11, it was just me, and it was just me and the transcribers, and they were in a separate room. And I was the only person left in the department because everybody else would leave by 5. So I was able to sit there and assemble records, and it was my first foray into listening to audiobooks. So we would go to the secondhand stores with my little Walkman tape recorder, and I would buy books on tape, and just sit there happily all night long. And I had to keep one ear open because if I was paged, if the emergency department paged me for records, I had to find a past record and run it down there real fast. So I had to keep one ear open to be paged. But I was able to just sit there 8 hours a day and assemble records happily. So that's a little history into one of my jobs and being a newlywed and like living next door and stuff. But it's him working at home. I got off on a tangent, sorry guys. Him working at home is kind of reminding me of all that, because he's able to come downstairs for lunch. He goes upstairs at 7:55 and turns on his computer and turns on the camera, because he webcams with his team and stuff so they can all see each other still. And then he shuts off at 4:55 and comes downstairs, and we cook dinner together and spend the evening together. So it's been really nice. I've enjoyed this part of it. Kind of takes the sting out of not being able to go anywhere. Although it does, every now and then I'm like, okay, let's go on a date. Oh wait, we can't leave the house. And we really don't want both of us going to the grocery store, so that doesn't work either. So we're doing well over here. We're doing as good as can be expected. I keep putting drills on sideways. What is my issue? So hopefully you guys are faring okay. You know what? I am liking this angle. It has been a lot faster. I'm a little surprised at how fast I've been able to work on this side. Normally, if it's scooted too far back, I don't feel comfortable, or I lean into it too far. But it's been good. This is comfortable. Every now and then you look down and you think you see a squish drill. see if I can get the me. There we go. That's straight. We'll get those on there. Oh, I left some little. Okay, I didn't see those. You know, you think you're done with a symbol and you find a couple more. I just found some more. Uh-oh, somebody just woke up. I think he's bored. Nobody's been playing with him today. What you doing, bud? He doesn't know it yet, but he's supposed to have a vet appointment on Wednesday for his 1-year physical. I'm going to have to call them and find out, are we still doing vet appointments? Are we rescheduling vet appointments? What are we doing? Not for certain how we're going to take care of that. I'm excited though because the vet that took such good care of Callie and was her baby vet has come out of retirement, and I have an appointment with Biscuits to see him. So he retired, he sold the practice, and evidently he couldn't stay retired. So he has now started practicing again 1 day a week, and I was able to score one of those appointments. But that's the other thing that makes me nervous, is he is also in that age group that should not be out and about himself. So if they need to cancel this appointment to keep him protected, I am okay. Because he's a fantastic vet, and it would be a shame if he was not able to continue his service because he gets sick and he gets exposed. Actually, it's the same if anybody gets exposed, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say, and I'm just not real eloquent. So I'm guessing they're going to cancel the appointment just to keep him safe. I was able to tip out just 2 drills. The 2 little ones right there that I got that were left behind. This one. I don't like it when these are darker than the canvas, because then you second guess yourself. But yeah. What are you doing, little man? So there are 39 colors in this canvas. There you go, go behind. And I'm going to say most of them are green. So there are varying shades of green to play with this, which is going to make it oh so pretty. I find myself comparing these to close to my heart colors though. Is this a sage green, or is this an evergreen, or is this a, you know, all the different close to my heart scrapbooking colors that I play with. Oh, wow, this is coming together pretty. I really hope you can see the canvas okay. I can't stand up and check it and see while I'm working at the same time. So it's only after I'm editing that I can see what you can see and what you can't. I'm really hoping this angle works out well. I was going to throw up a tripod directly behind me, but my husband still has my tripod. And since he is making money right now with my tripod, I will not say anything about him using my camera equipment. I am still in the phase of having to really stop and look where I keep my symbols in my jars, because this is a new painting. So I can't just go, oh, it should be there, that's the one. I have to actually stop and look at each container and the number and the drill, and still that early in the painting that I don't have things memorized just yet. So if it takes me a bit longer to switch colors, that's what's going on. There we go. I'm going to have to think about this angle, because this is working well productivity-wise. Pardon the truck driving by. It's supposed to rain sometime today, so I'm watching the weather still, so I can shut the window when need be. But I figure fresh air will take it while I can get fresh air. This is the time of year that we normally get the camper ready and get camping season going. Get her prepped for the season, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm a little skeptical about camping this year. The government has shut down, although it makes no sense. Hotels are able to stay open. Hotels are a shared space. I think of it as a cruise ship. They get cleaned probably as well as a cruise ship. But campsites with RVs are closed down. They have been forced to be closed down. And what doesn't make sense about that is an RVer is using their own space. The only part that they're renting is the little plot of land that your trailer goes on. Everything else is contained within your little trailer, your So I'm not really understanding why the government has shut down RV parks, which is making it really hard on full-time RVers because they have nowhere to park their RV now. They're being kicked out of parks. The state parks are trying to stay open, but even then, I mean, if anybody, whether it's staff or with anybody, comes down with the virus, they have to close the park. But I'm not understanding that logic at all. So we have not pulled our camper out to get her ready for the season because we're not sure there's going to be a season. We're not sure we've got anywhere to park her to play. We have 2 or 3 state parks within an hour and a half of our house that we kind of make a circle and go camping throughout this camping season. And we put it on the back burner last year so Mike could get the book finished because that was a priority, and he is just about finished. So we actually were gonna start camping again this year. So if you don't know us, we love to RV. We've got a 32-foot C-Class RV. C-Class is the one that's got the bunk over the driver. It's not the one that looks like a bus. We don't have a bus. We started off in a pop-up, which is part camper, part trailer. And we wore the wheels off that sucker. And then we were just goofing off one Sunday afternoon and went to an RV lot to just kind of look and see. We didn't dream we'd ever be able to afford an RV then because Kayla was about to start college. And I threw out my dream specs, my absolute dream specs for the RV that I wanted. Not ever thinking they would have the RV that I wanted on the lot in the price that we could afford. And the man called my bluff and had the RV, because there was a certain way that I wanted my bathroom, there was a certain way that I wanted the bed. I didn't want the bed to be the one that somebody shoved up in the corner, because guess who's going to be the one shoved up in the corner? And some of these RVs are so close that when you're in bed, you either have your foot sitting on the toilet to have a spot to put your foot, or you've got your foot sitting on the stove. And I didn't want that situation either. I wanted a proper bedroom and I wanted a proper bathroom with a door. Because now that Mom lives with me, or lives with us, I wanted us to have, you know, a measure of privacy when we're in the potty. And I'll be darned if that guy didn't call our bluff and got the exact RV that we wanted at a price that we wanted. Now it's used, but you know what? I'll take used. I'm not opposed to buying used. So we bought this. It was a 2012. We bought it in 2013. And we have just enjoyed every minute that we have gone out to play in that thing. It has been, it's been so fun to have. I'll tell you, we've had some great memories in that thing. I will tell you, we've had a couple of mishaps in it. Well, actually, one of the mishaps was actually in the pop-up. We were at Palo Duro Canyon, which is the second largest canyon in the United States, and this is in West Texas. And we figured 8-hour drive. It's before we ever went to the Grand Canyon. So we think we were going to stay a week out there. So my mother-in-law, Actually, my mother watched the pug for us because this is when our pug was still alive, and we thought it would be way too hot for him to take with us because pop-up. So yeah, it had an air conditioner, but it wasn't the best. It was just one that would keep you from overheating, but that's about it. So wanting to go in desert conditions with a fur coat, we didn't think would be ideal. And then being a pug with the squish face, we didn't think that'd be ideal either. So he stayed with my mom for the week. And you know, you buy all your provisions, take all your provisions out there, cook over a campfire. Had a blast, had an absolute blast. But one morning for breakfast, I made muffins. And I did not realize that I purchased Fiber One muffins. I didn't know Fiber One made muffins. I just knew that blueberry muffins would be very nice cooked in our Dutch oven over the fire. And they were very good. They were excellent muffins. Got some nice butter you put on them. Oh, they were fabulous. About 45 minutes later, we all make a run for the bathroom. That's when we figured out, because I pulled the package out, because all of us were like, hey, what's going on with our tummies? So I pulled the package out of the trash and went, oh, these were fiber muffins. Oh my. So, thankfully, we were fairly close to the bathhouse, and we could all make a mad dash to the potties, because it didn't take long for the fiber to kick in, let's just put it that way. So now if I decide to buy any type of muffins at all to take camping, the family checks the brand. And the second mishap was actually very recent. It was last year. My husband wanted to try Impossible Burgers, because if he could be a vegetarian, he would be a vegetarian. I'm the holdout. I have to, about every 3 days or so, I have to have some sort of meat-based protein. So I found Impossible Burgers at Whole Foods, you know, that you can just do yourself. So I thought, you know what, let's take a few of these and we'll put them on the grill and we'll try them, you know. How bad can it be? So we put them on the grill in the campsite, and they were okay. Would I actively choose it over a beef patty? I don't know, to be quite honest with you. It was okay. You know, Mike thoroughly enjoyed it, but we figured out fairly shortly after that I'm not going to be able to eat an Impossible Burger. Yeah, it didn't. No, it was kind of like the Fiber One muffins. I came out of the camper and just went, I'm sorry. Because I broke the camper rule. But we were not near the camp potties, and there was no way I was making it. So yeah, I just got graphic with you guys. Oh well. That's just part of being with me. Okay, where is the... There it is. Let's do this one first. That's just part of being my friend. Oh, no. Okay, we can do that. Sometimes I get graphic. I forget sometimes that not everybody worked in the ER and talks about bodily functions as easily as I do, so... Sorry, guys. Anyway, that's the couple of mishaps that we've had in the camper. They've been funny mishaps. But that's also how some of our rules came into play. This is two separate symbols, but the color is exactly the same, so I'm just being careful. I don't know if you can tell the shade differences in these greens. But if this painting is not in your stash, if you're able to get your hands on it, it is very pretty. I don't know if it's still in DSC's stock or not. or if you've done it in the past or you have one in your stash. But I'm enjoying the color variations in it. It does run on the darker side. It's a Mandy Malonzo, or Mandy Malonzo. Mandy. I think it's a girl. Manzano? Manzano. Mandy Manzano is that what it is. So it is a darker, for some reason she has darker themed paintings. But the color variations are gorgeous. Okay, so let me just make sure. The only thing I've got left is black. And I think it is. And the black, when I put it in the container, was rather staticky, but it seems to have calmed down. So we just have to fill in this black part, and then we are golden for the session. So again, if you're new, do you see how it just all kinds of pulls itself together as it's filling in? So don't worry if you are putting your drills on. Now if it's obviously crooked, I mean you've got things going sideways, yeah, go ahead and fix those and stuff. But if it's just slightly off, it will fix itself as you fill in the drills. Just make sure that you hold your pen as straight as possible with your square, and it just pops in. And you can, if you've got color blocking going on, you can work in a checkerboard fashion, and that helps. I just always forget to do that. It does help. I've done it a few times. I need some. I was hoping to not have to refill before I was done, but I needed a wee bit. And also, run your finger across, you'll be able to feel which ones need correcting. Whether you've got a little, one that's popping up or one that's not seated correctly, you'll be able to feel it. Do it lightly though, because if you put any pressure, you'll pull them out. And don't worry if you are using your wax or your blue tack or whatever, and some of it ends up between your drills. I have a baby brush, one of those very fine baby brushes. You just very lightly do this and it will pull the blue tack out. Or the pink wax. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. I know that you have 101 different things that you could be doing, and I am just very, very thankful that you choose to spend part of your day with me. Until next time, bye-bye.